In this video, we'll look at approval delegation in CRM. That's the process where you can assign someone to do approvals for you. In other words, you delegate your approval responsibility to them. Let me show you how to do that. Now, for this demo, I'm in a test database and I'm logged in as Stacy Hood, someone who does approvals. So let me show you. See, Stacy, if she wanted to delegate her approvals to someone, she would go to Tools, User Preferences, Approval Delegation. And then here under the Delegation List Applet, CRM gives us the chance to add a person or persons to Stacy's approval delegates. So let me click on the plus sign. And then here, when you're going to select who the person is, it's a matter of knowing who they should be. In Stacy's case, she could use people like Brennan Stratton, David Carroll, who are also managers in the same position in CRM as she is. Or she could really bump her approvals up to Therese, her manager, while she was off. The rule is you can go laterally and you can bump your approvals up, but you can't go down. That is, she could not delegate one of her subordinates, one of her direct reports, to do approvals for her. That wouldn't be allowed. So in this case, let me go ahead and just select Brennan. I've just typed in his last name. Then I'm going to click down here in the white space. And then CRM fills in quite a bit of information there. But what I want to do now is set my start and end date. So let's see, click and start, go to this icon, and now I have basically a calendar here. But you'll notice that I can also set the hour and actually the minute. Now there's a couple of ways to deal with this. If I wanted it to just start now, at the moment I'm doing this, I would just click on Now. And it would tell me that that would be at 1:55 in the afternoon on Wednesday the 4th. Okay? If I wanted that to start tomorrow or something like that, I would just click on it, and then I could adjust my time. I guess just leave it to the default, probably. Just let it start at midnight or whatever. Okay? So let me click on Now, so it starts now. And then I'm going to click on Done. That doesn't mean that Brennan is done or I'm done doing this. It just means I'm going to exit the form. So that's a little confusing. So click Done to close it down. And now, so we're starting on Wednesday the 4th. Let me click End Date. And I'm going to just make that end Friday, say, I don't know, 1700, 1800, sometime after regular work hours are over, so that Brennan would actually be Stacy's delegate for approvals from Wednesday at 2 o'clock till Friday after close of business. Then click Done again. Okay? Now, the one thing I want to make sure that we do is that this gets saved. Siebel does do automatic saving, but I want to make sure that you manually save this so you know it's done and in place and ready to go. So go to this menu wheel here, this little blue cog, and then click Save Record. When I did that, see how it makes this active? That's the key. Now you know for sure that Brennan will be the delegate during this time period, and Stacy can rest assured that Brennan's available there. Okay? Now, the one other thing I want to look at is, see, I set my time for now, which was roughly 2 o'clock. Okay? If Stacy had anything in her inbox prior to 2 o'clock or 13:55 when I made it the start date, that won't be in there for Brennan. That'll still be with her. So if she wants to make sure that he takes care of anything that she had pending before she set him up as a delegate, she can click Update Historical Records. In other words, this is setting the future, and when I click Update Historical Records, that then pertains to what already exists for Stacy. So that's how she could do it. And then eventually this will just expire. Now you notice you could add another person if you needed to cover another time period. The one thing I noticed in testing though, let's say I set up somebody else for this exact same time as I just set up Brennan, that other person would never get any alerts. That other person would never see those approvals pending in their inbox. It would default to Brennan. So the rule is you can have multiple delegates, but the time cannot be the same. They can't overlap. Otherwise, I think you just get into a logical problem in CRM. And I don't think you'd want to have 2 or 3 people trying to approve the same agreements. That sounds like a nightmare in a database. So just keep that in mind. So I'm going to go ahead and just delete that. I don't have to worry about cleaning this up because this is a test database. So that's really the basics of how you do it. You just, again, tools, user preferences, approval delegation, select your person, and go from there. I'm going to go back to the sticky for a moment. Where is it? Here it is. And I've got some little rules here that I do want to point out. Not too many, but the thing to be aware of is the delegate, the person who's going to be doing the approvals, their role has to be the same as or higher than the delegator. So, like I said, if I'm a manager, I can have other managers do approvals for me, but I cannot have, say, my subordinates, my direct reports do it for me. I could have my manager do them for me. That'd be fine. So it's a same role or higher in the approval hierarchy. Okay. Next thing is that the delegation is restricted to the same type of position. In other words, if Wendy Jones, as a business controller, wants to have Gary Plummer or Michelle George do her approvals for her for a time period, she can do that. But Wendy couldn't have Jeff Siddons or Ramsey or Stacy Hood, somebody who's not a business controller, do her approvals for her. That's not allowed. In general, anyone who doesn't normally do approvals, you can't make them a delegate. And that includes Ramsey and myself, Jeff. So our days of someone saying, hey, can you do approvals for me are gone now. What we can do, though, is that we can assign approvals to others for someone. But I think for business continuity and to just keep confusion down, that a person should make sure they connect with their delegate and clear it with them that, I'm going to be gone next week. Will you be around to do this for me, so that we don't end up with chaos and craziness? So that's one thing. And then one other thing, too. Once a delegate is assigned an agreement to approve, it's theirs. There's really no way to take it away. So let's say Stacy was going to be gone on Friday and had asked Brennan to cover for her. She didn't end up being off work on Friday, so she went in there and deleted him as her delegate, and then wondered why she's not seeing any approvals. They're still with him, and they will be. Anything that was assigned to him at the point that she deleted him, they're still going to be with him, and there's no real practical way to take those back. That shouldn't normally be a problem, but it's just something to be aware of. So that is it. We have instructions on the sticky. This video will be posted here in a moment. And if you have any questions or comments or need some assistance, always get a hold of me or Ramsey.